Hi, I'm James at Bespoke Airsoft and welcome to the first episode in this new series called On the Counter. On the Counter is where we look at these products a little bit more in depth than what we usually do in the product descriptions on the website, so we'll go through the full information including chrono testing and a little bit more in depth here and there, how to set your hop up and bits and pieces like that. So for episode 1 we're looking at the Gladius 17. Now these are available right now on the website bespokeairsoft.co.uk. These are available in 4 different colours, which is bronze, grey and then 2 black colours, one with a gold barrel and one with a black barrel. So today we're looking at the grey version, but all the versions will be the same in functionality and what you get in the box. So this is the packaging that comes with the Gladius 17. As you can see, they've got the nice Spartan on there. So lovely packaging compared to other brands, and you can see how they really do put the effort in, especially with this and the Rudis, the 1911 that they do also. So in the box, we'll just take the top off here. You'll have a little foam topper. You'll have your instruction manual where you can find all the information on the functionality and the bits and pieces that you need. And then you'll have the pistol. You'll have a spare O-ring. Now from what I can tell, this may be a spare O-ring for the CO2 little functionality here. With the way that they put the CO2 magazines in, the clear O-rings look very similar to the ones that they have on there, so this might be for them or it might be for something inside the gun. It looks a little bit too big for that, to be honest. So you get that in the box. You'll get the pistol. Just see here. They have a nice one joule energy sticker on there. And then you'll have the magazine. Now these come with a CO2 magazine. As far as we can tell, they are Tokyo Marui and WE compatible. As you'll see on our live feed where we put a WE mag in, it it functioned fine. So the Gladius 17 is a pistol that looks very similar to a Glock 17, although they don't say it's a Glock 17. It's got serrations and cuts on the slide, which is very similar to the Salient Arms style Glock series in how they've designed this here. The black models are a little bit different, with sort of like a 3-port styling on the top of the slide here, where the grey and the bronze come with nice big cuts so you can see the barrels, and then you've got the very distinctive sword there, which you get on the Rudis too. So it's a Glock 17 gas blowback pistol, but it's powered by CO2. They will have gas magazines as well as a CO2 magazines available very, very soon. They hold about 25 rounds. The CO2 mags that come with it are very easily accessible. They've got a nice stippling on the bottom there to match the pistol. But the pistols have a polymer lower frame with a metal slide and barrel. And then just like your average Glock 17, to take the top slide off, you'll just pull down the 2 tabs and the slide will come off the front, very similar to Tokyo Marui's and WE's. So just while we've got the slide off there, you'll be able to see that the hop adjustment, the spring guides and the nozzles and everything else is very, very similar. You can take the spring guide by just popping it out there. The barrel assembly just pushes forward, and then you'll probably have to unscrew thread adapter off the barrel to get the outer barrel and the inner barrel hop assembly out. And then again, they're very similar to the Tokyo Marui and WE 17 and 18 models. You can see the nozzle there, which they have a clear nozzle compared to black, which is usually the go-to colour. I know WE has started switching them out for greens and different colours there, and you'll see the very distinctive gold valve that they fit in there. I don't know whether that's got something to do with the one joule limit that they're putting these pistols out at to make sure they don't fire too hot on CO2. But these are going to look very, very similar to your TM and your WE 17s and the blowback housing as well. So just pop that barrel back in there, put the thread adapter on. And the great thing about this as well is the barrels are threaded is a bit tight when they're new out the box, to 14mm counterclockwise, but you can take these out like I've just shown you there if you don't want to have that sort of more tactical looking style barrel and you want it to be a little bit more incognito. So we're just going to put the spring light back on there. Hopper, just like I said, exactly the same as WE and TM's. To pop the slide back on, we're just going to slide it, make sure it's fitted nice and good. So from what we can tell with these Gladius 17s, they're produced by APS. Now, while a few of you may be thinking, APS, oh God, no, they do make some bad and some good stuff, depending on what you've bought or what you've had dealings with in the past. What I can tell you is that Secutor have had a involvement with the production of these Gladius 17s, and they've done some nice touches here and there. One being the making sure the joule output is around about 1 joule in energy, as well as the quality control of these pistols compared to APS's other models. So although APS might ring a few alarm bells for those out there that are TM or WE, should we say, loyal, but they really have not done a bad job of these. The stippling is better than most of pistols that come out of the box with stippling on there. You may get a better finish out of the stippling if you were to do it yourself, or you've got someone that you know that does stippling. They obviously have to do this on a mass scale, so you can see areas where they may have rushed a little bit better, where they could have done a little bit better, but it's good. It's got a nice positive feel. The stippling in all the right areas where you need to have it, sorry. And what I will tell you is the iron sight is movable, so you can have it on the back or more towards the middle of the pistol. I suppose it has to do with fitting an RMR on there, so you can move this to the back if you're not going to do that, but you probably want it fitted at the front to fit your RMR onto the pistol. Now, what you've got to be careful of these threads for the RMRs is they're very, very shallow, so you'll be able to see through the top of them and you'll be able to see the blowback spring on the nozzle. So just make sure if you're fitting an RMR that you make sure that the screws aren't too long, so you don't screw too far down and screw into the nozzle spring. So it's got a nice positive feel to it. The slide's not loose at all like some models. The barrel's a lovely, nice touch with the sword markings on there. It feels great. It feels like a Glock, which it should. You've got a rail under there, which you can fit all your dots, not your dot sights, your lasers or your torches. From the ones that we've tested on there, the sort of the Chinese clones or real Surefires, we pop them on there and they seem to go on okay without much wobble. The trigger is where it gets a little bit different. Now you'll see similarities if you're looking at other APS pistol models, is where the trigger has a little button on the side of it to engage the safety. Now, although this is a nice feature in regards to safety to make sure the gun doesn't go off, it's not true to what a Glock safety would be like, and you can see where they've cut, I don't know if you'll be able to see there on the close-up, where they've cut part of the frame out so that button can house inside the frame. Not a massive issue. It'd be nice to see if aftermarket triggers like your Guns Modify, your Ace 1 arms, whether they'll go onto these pistols. From a quick look that we've had on the internals of these pistols, they should take them, but we're not 100% on that. We have got some Guns Modify and some Ace 1 arms triggers here, so we'll be trying that out very, very soon. Nice positive lock on the magazine, and when you press it, it falls out under its own weight, which is good. Which means once you press the mag release, you haven't got to then, if you've got gloves on, have to fumble around and try and pull the magazine out, as with some models that we see, like in the CZP-09s for sometimes, or the FNX 45s. I've got one of them myself. Sometimes the magazines get a bit stuck and you have to pull them, which isn't great. But these fall out under their own weight, which is good. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to put a CO2 capsule in here now. So all you're going to do is you're going to pop down the little lever there and just pull the cap off, and it will reveal this very different looking style system than what you used to say with the WE CO2 mags. Now I'm just going to grab a screwdriver and show you this. So from what I can tell with this system, it's a two-part system where you'll put your CO2 capsule in at the upside down to how you'd normally do it with a WE mag. So you're going to pull that off there, and you'll see the brass screws into the magazine, brass part screws into the magazine, and then the aluminium or steel part, I'm not really sure what material that is, it might be steel. Once the brass part goes in tight enough, as it should do, where it seals, then you're able to turn the inner section in, which will pierce the cylinder. Right, so we're just going to pull this off. Now what's nice about this is it has been thought about. So if you've had experience with WE CO2 Glock mags in the past, you'll know that that little silver cap that they have with the Allen key rounds easy. It's not always easy to get in and out, where it will, your Allen key will sit on the top of the bottom of the CO2 capsule, so you can't get quite a good grip on the capsule. So we've got a little capsule here. Just going to pop that down, loosely screw that in, hand tight. And the good thing about this system is when we turn it, the inner part of the mechanism won't actually tighten down to pierce the cylinder until the brass part is fully seated into the magazine. So you'll see it's fully seated in there, and then we're able to turn the inner part of the system here. Now you won't have heard that on camera, but once it gets so far down, you hear it pierce the CO2 capsule. Now there's a few good things about this, because as you're aware, like I say, and I'll keep mentioning the WE CO2 mags, the way you put those capsules in is they'll go in the opposite way around. The open end of the CO2 capsule sits at the top, so once it's pierced, it's pretty much got a direct feed to the top of the magazine. Now with it being the other way around, it's very similar to the way that some air rifles function, where you'll have a enclosed cylinder unit where you'll put your CO2 capsule in, and when you pierce the CO2 capsule, it actually pressurizes the cylinder. So because you haven't got a direct feed from the CO2 capsule up to your outlet valve, what it's actually doing is it's pressurizing the cavity where the CO2 capsule goes in. So that's all pressurized now, it's good to go. We're going to pop it in the gun. And what I'll also like to say about these pistols is they've got extended mag releases and extended slide releases as well, which is a nice function, which is sometimes when you're doing Glock builds, whether it's like a salient build or just like a TM Glock or something like that, all these little bits and pieces you end up paying for extra, but they're included with the Gladius 17s. Now this is completely empty, it's got no rounds in it whatsoever. We're just going to try the blowback and the noise on this. So I'm going to pop this forward, and we're going to do one fire. Now you can see they're quite loud, which is nice. It's got the fear factor there, like with the Rudices. And we're just going to... Now these are so snappy. It is so much fun to shoot, especially we was at a game just the weekend gone. A few of the guys are running these. They're having an absolute blast of them. The blowback is nice and crisp, better than, I'm going to say, all Glocks out of the box, even the WE with CO2 mags. The snappiness of the Gladius 17 is so much more crisp than the WE pistols, that it just gives you that extra bit of, you know, that bit of grin that you got on your face when you're firing it, because it just functions and performs really well. And the accuracy and the sort of distance that you're getting out of the hop unit straight out of the box as well is really, really good. So if you're looking for a Glock 17 pistol that's got all these attributes out of the box, you're not having to go out and spend more on your extended slide and mag releases. You're not having to go and spend 150 to 200 pounds on a nice slide that's ported. You're having to go and spend on a barrel system that enables you to put any kind of attachment somewhere. It's like a flash hider, or whether you want to put a suppressor on there. With it being CO2 as well, having a suppressor on there, it's not going to lag up the system. It's not going to, because there's some pistols like the WEs, when you fire them with suppressors on, they get a bit sluggish. But that is so much fun to shoot. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pop over to the chrono. We're going to get some rounds in this. We're going to be using a Crossman CO2 capsule. It's fresh. I've just fired a few rounds there, and we're going to be using 0.2 gram BBs for this test. So we'll just pop over to the chrono now, and we'll be back as soon as we've got those results. So as you can see from the chrono test there, the first few rounds came out about 335, and then it sort of settled around the 320 to 326. We was getting a few variances up and down. But for an out-of-box pistol, that performance really is very, very good. It's very, very warm in here, probably about 22 degrees. This building seems to keep the residual heating quite well. So there's no shots going over. The magazine is warm, even after sort of the 25 rounds we just put through it. We only put a few through on the chrono, and then we'll show you just the firing the rest of the mag off. The kick on this is brilliant, and I think you'll see that from the chrono test. I was trying to, sort of keep the gun central with one hand, and as I'm firing it, the pistol's just bouncing back at me. The feel and kick off this thing, I know I keep going over it, it's absolutely superb, and you are not going to be disappointed with your purchase. This and all the models are available now on the website. We've only got a couple left of the grey and the bronze. The blacks, we've got a few models of those left in stock as well. This is the time to be buying a Glock 17, especially the ability to put an RMR straight onto the slide. The function like the threaded barrel, the ported slide, the stippling on the grip, although it's not up to the standard of those that do it professionally, for an out-of-box pistol, it's very, very good. The feel of the magazines, I just fired a full magazine off there, and it'd probably do another 2 or 3 magazines on that CO2 capsule. We'll have to do some more testing. But we are very, very pleased with the Gladius 17. Secutor has done a very, very good job with this model. I don't think you're going to be disappointed, like I say, with your purchase if buying one of these. And this is a contender for those looking to perhaps maybe look at getting a Marui or a WE. I would recommend this highly over the WE series. The Marui is like a different pistol in its own because you're going to be using green gas. You've got a plastic slide. They're very good. They work in the cold. But with this having the CO2 capability, it's going to be good in the cold as well. Us at Bespoke here, we love these Gladius 17s. We've had a lot of fun with them. They seem to be very popular on the store. Like I say, we've only got a few models left in each colour. The grey and the bronze seem to be the most popular. But the blacks are very, very nice too. They've still got all the attributes that the bronze and the grey have, apart from just a different slide there. And it's got more of a rounded profile on the top. Thanks for tuning into this On The Counter review. This is the Secutor Gladius 17 pistol. I'm James from Bespoke Airsoft, and you can see this and many other standard and bespoke airsoft items on our website, bespokeairsoft.co.uk. Thank you.